It took almost 7 days for him to reach. And then when he reaches, he says, his wife asks, "What happened? Tannu Sheti Anasi, why did it take so many days for you to reach?" Then he says, I don't know why these car manufacturers put 5 gears to go ahead and only 1 gear to come back. So today I want to talk to you about this chapter from backwards, not from the beginning. So here in this parable we see Jesus, as if he explored, or as if some spark has been ignited to tell a parable after parable. Something has happened, and he in succession giving parables after parables to bring to a context, to bring to a part the important person through whom he wants to talk, to him he wants to address those religious leaders. Let us read Luke chapter 15 verse 1 and 2, and then 25 onwards. Okay, I will read. Luke chapter 15 verse 1 and 2 says, "Then all the tax collectors and the sinners drew near to him to hear him. And the Pharisees and the scribes complained, saying, 'This man receives sinners and eats with them.' So he spoke this parable to them, saying," 25th onwards, "Now his older son was in the field, and he came and drew near to the house, and he heard music and dancing. So he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said to him, 'Your brother has come, and because he has received him safe and sound, your father has killed the fatted calf.' But he was angry and would not go in. Therefore his father came out and pleaded with him. So he answered and said to his father, 'Lo, this son of yours came, who has devoured your livelihood with harlots. You killed the fatted calf for him.' And he said to him, 'Son, you're always with me, and all that I have is yours. It was right that we should make merry and be glad, for your brother was dead and is alive again, and was lost and is found.'" In all these parables, when we see, there's a basic common structure. May I know, like, anybody can answer? This is simple question. In this whole parable, who is the focus point Jesus was trying to address? Whole parable. Any youth? Pardon? Jews, huh? Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yes, that is right. Actually, he was addressing to them. Okay. The whole point, Jesus was trying to paint a picture, and he was giving extra strokes on certain aspects, and he wanted to give that the second or the elder brother who was in the house. He was actually main focus in this entire narration, and he slowly comes to that place where he says how this person is. When we see this whole story, whole parables, we see like when we focus mostly, we see a wild younger brother who wastes his inheritance, a dramatic return, a tearful embrace, and a happy ending. But do we really see that happy ending happening in this chapter? We don't see that happy ending happening. And that ending is never, or it is not yet happened. It is still continuing. And That is the heart of what Jesus was trying to showcase how God is. It is a story we tell at evangelistic meeting, the sermon we preach to wandering sinners, the parable we cite when speaking of God's forgiveness. But what if I told you that we have been reading this parable mostly in a not putting highlight to that phrase which actually we should be? What if person Jesus was most urgently addressing was not the one who ran away, but the one who stayed at home? What if the most important character in this story is the one not mentioned mostly? Because Luke 15 tells the parable with a purpose to specific audience in a sharp moment of tension. The tension was, if you look at who were Pharisees and Sadducees. Pharisees and Sadducees. Pharisees are mostly a common people who believes and accept both the oral law and the written law. And they are the religious people who are custodians of law. They came from mostly, they have a common background. They study law. They attended, like in our terminology, they have gone through a Bible college, they have degrees, and they try to translate or propagate what they have learned to the common masses. And who are Sadducees? Or Sadducees mainly, they are from aristocratic background, and they are people who mainly actually controls temple. They are priests. They are people who collude with the Romans and try to have their control. So mostly in Sanhedrin, there are Pharisees and Sadducees, but Sadducees' strength was more, and they are economically well off. So here, when Jesus was addressing to the people who themselves thought they are custodians of that religion or of that way which they are living in. And one more difference is Sadducees only believe on the written law, the Torah, whereas Pharisees both oral and written law. Not only that, they believe in resurrection and the angels, but whereas Sadducees won't. They only the whatever Moses have given, they were believing on that. So these kinds of people Jesus was addressing. And why Jesus was addressing to them? Like what the complaint of these Pharisees and Sadducees were? What are the complaint? It's not theological complaint. Jesus is not speaking some doctrine he is giving. No, the relationship complaint. The complaint was Jesus was accepting these tax collectors and sinners. They have no offense or no problem. Sinners coming to Jesus, they're okay. Sinners can come to Jesus, but Jesus, being holy, the way he is calling and portraying himself as Son of God, how can he accept such a slumdog or people who are coming from such a dirty background? These tax collectors, these sinners are being accepted. There is a problem in this person. So they are having a relationship problem. They are focusing on Jesus, saying that how can you accept people who are not good, who are the people who comes from things which they are entangled with, and they are not right thing. They do malpractices. They are corrupt. They are all wayward people, and we people who are custodians of the law, and you always address us as a we are working against you, as if we are not colluding with you. So this was the sharp tension out of which Jesus spoke. Almost we see 3 parables. The younger son, if you see in this story, we see the younger son who squandered his inheritance in a far country, may not be the character who needs repentance most. See, many times we think We are children of God. We have some certain entitlement. We have certain rights, and we see in this parables one after another. If you see the structure, something is lost, someone goes after him, and there is that lost is found, and then there is a celebration. The two parables, first two parables has same type of structure, but when we see third parable, there is that also has same structure, but there's some tweaking to it. There is someone who is not willing to join in the celebration. He was none other than person who stayed in the presence of his father. He is the person who stayed in the authority of his father, who was obedient and a faithful boy. He was a boy who shows this is the person. If a world sees, yes, this is the boy who was supposed to require get all the inheritance or all the father's wealth, and we see that, and he was of course elder boy, elder son. Here's the question that will follow us through the entire sermon. Why would Jesus end his most famous forgiveness story without telling us whether the good son ever came back inside? Because by the end of this message or this little bit discussion, you will see the prodigal son as Jesus